G'day Beaks and Beaks to Be. Are you curious about learning more about beekeeping? I have been a beekeeper for over 55 years and rearing queen bees since the 1980s.
When I met Alan through my local beekeeping club, I knew nothing about bees. So today we've been called to have a look at a single 8-frame hive, and it is suspected to have American foulbrood disease. So we're going to open up the hive and have a look at the frames and do a thorough inspection and to see what we find.
Hope you said good day to him.
Yeah. Well, you're the one told me not to wear a veil.
What's that bloody thing there?
So, what do they call that, Alan?
Huh?
An inner cover?
That's a throwaway.
Yeah. I thought that was just part of the packaging.
Yeah, that's an inner cover.
So what I'll do, I'll actually put all these bees just out here. Plenty of drones flying here.
Yep.
And as you look, you've still got bees coverage on at least 6 frames. And it's
Yeah, there's not a lot of bees
that's
there.
right. Officially the last day of winter.
Fair bit of honey there, probably, I think.
Yep. So there we go. Alrighty. Now obviously you need to look at sealed brood or larvae to spot A.F.B. So
yeah, it's no good looking at unsealed brood.
yeah. And honey won't tell you much either. So there's a lot of drones flying there. Alright, now the first thing I see when I look at this is lots of perforations in the cappings. So if you can get a bit of close up there, Alan, and I can see lots of obviously pinholes and perforations if you look at the end of my hive tool here. Some small, some large.
Yeah, get that drone out the road.
You looking here, Alan?
Yeah, yep.
Yep. And then in any sealed brood you see with any sort of perforation or piercing, you want to investigate. But as I look, you can find there's quite a few more perforations, and the fact that they're quite uneven is also an indication that we could have some brood disease happening here. So I'm going to shake these bees off inside the hive and we'll have a closer look.
Yeah, there's quite. I can see quite a few perforations there.
Yep.
A lot of them.
And as you see too, that the pattern is what you call scattered. So we've got sealed brood in some places and not in others. So something's definitely going on. So to check underneath these cappings is priority, and to properly do it you should use something like a matchstick or a twig if you need to have a look outfield. But most importantly, those twigs or matchsticks or whatever must never go into the ground, because if positive for American foulbrood disease, it'll definitely be another infecting agent that could possibly reinfect other hives in the area. So, start off with a matchstick here. I'm going to pick the largest cell here, and I can see in there some sort of sunken mass on the bottom of those cells, not on the back of the foundation but on the bottom of the cells, and that immediately indicates American foulbrood disease. The biggest thing to do and to test for is for ropiness in the deceased larva. So I poke the stick in, and yes, this coffee coloured goop or ropey mass, if you get some close-ups there, Alan, you'll see that.
Yeah, I'm can't get any closer, I'm starting to go out of focus.
You can see that kind of
Yep.
ropiness there, and if you check another and you find,
That's a better one.
yep.
Yep.
Now the earlier you find this, you'll have less cells, and you see how this one's actually lighter? That often indicates that it's been found earlier on in the infection. And yeah, if I look at all these cells here,
Yep, a whole
as
lot.
a matter of fact, almost 100% of these here. Now, here's a good example for you of one that's not perforated. Slightly sunken, and I'm just going to test inside it. So, you ready?
Yep.
inside that cell that was no perforation, and same symptom.
Yep.
So that's why it proves it is possible to find A.F.B in your hives before it even gets to the perforation stage. And this one was found very, very early with only a few cells, which is great because it means that while there's still bees in the hive, it's able to defend from robbers, thus stopping the spread of American foul brood disease in the other area, because they can defend from other bees that may want to come in and take the stores. Point of good habit, I've got other sticks I can use for a sample to send off to the lab for testing, but I will place that into the actual frame. That way I know that I haven't pushed it on the ground or somewhere else. So we've got our results back from the lab, and it turns out that this is positive for American foul brood disease. It is a notifiable disease in all states and territories in Australia, and you therefore must destroy the bees and either sterilise by a legally allowed method or burn the equipment as well. So the first thing we've got to do is destroy the bees, and today, because there's only one hive in this spot, we have selected to use the hot soapy water method, in which we will drop the frames of bees off the frames and into the hot soapy water to euthanize them very quickly.
Yep. A lot of extra larvae there.
Yeah. Be sure to put the original brood super back in its place. The idea is that when done during the day, this is only half the job. You want to make sure that you come back after dark and collect the remaining bees. Place the frame back in to allow them to congregate. And reassemble the hive as per normal. So the last part of the job is to come back after dark and kill the remaining bees. This can be done with a spray bottle full of hot soapy water, which makes sure that no pesticides and stuff like that is used, if the equipment is getting taken to irradiation so that it can be reused again in the future. Soap penetrates the segments on the thorax, drowning the bees inside.
Yeah, there's about 75mm of water, and it's nearly full of dead bees.